Human soldier jumps in front of blade meant for alien queen. Her life debt tradition demands more. The battlefield smelled of scorched metal and blood. Screams echoed through the air, alien and human alike. Sergeant Kale Vera staggered forward, clutching his plasma rifle. The joint peace summit between humans and the Renari had been ambushed, and now chaos reigned. At the center of it stood Queen Serena the Renari, tall, with iridescent silver skin and eyes that shimmered like starlight. Her ceremonial robes were torn, her crown shattered, but she still held herself with regal defiance. A blade was rushing toward her heart, carried by a rebel Renari warrior screaming vengeance. Kale didn't think. He dropped his rifle and lunged. The blade meant for her chest plunged into his. The force knocked him to ground, pain radiating through every nerve. Blood filled his mouth as he gasped, but he didn't regret it. Human! Serena cried out, catching him before he fell completely. Her voice trembled, something no one had ever heard from their stoic queen. Why would you do this? Kale managed a faint grin. Didn't seem right, letting you die. The attacker was subdued by royal guards in seconds, but Serena didn't care. She pressed her hands over his wound, her alien magic flickering faintly. But healing wasn't part of her gift. You fool, she whispered, shaking. Do you not know what this means? Kale coughed weakly. Means I saved a life. No, Serena said, voice low and grave. Among the Renari, a life debt binds deeper than blood. You are owed more than gratitude. You are owed me. The healing chamber. Kale woke days later in a chamber unlike any he'd ever seen. Walls of living crystal pulsing softly with energy. The bed beneath him was warm, almost alive. He blinked at the faint glow above, confused, until the soft rustle of fabric made him turn his head. Serena stood nearby, no longer in battle-torn robes, but in flowing white ceremonial garb. Her silver hair cascaded like liquid light. For the first time, Kale saw her without the weight of command in her posture. You're awake, she said softly. Relief colored her voice. Kale tried to sit up, but groaned in pain. Guess I'm harder to kill than they thought. Her lips curved into something halfway between a smile and a frown. You should not jest. You almost died. I've almost died plenty of times, Kale muttered. Usually not saving alien royalty, though. That made her pause. She approached, sitting on the edge of the bed. Her hand hovered over his arm, unsure if touch was allowed between their species. You do not understand what you've done, Serena whispered. By our law, the life debt cannot be ignored. You have saved the sovereign of our people. In return, I must give all that I am. Kale blinked. All that you are? It means, she said, eyes locking on his, that I am bound to you. My title, my honor, even my hand, they belong to you now. He stared. Wait, are you saying marriage? Her silence was answer enough. The tradition. In the following days, Kale learned more about the Renari's life debt than any human diplomat ever had. It wasn't just symbolic, it was sacred. A bond forged by fate itself. Rejecting it brought dishonor, so deep it could exile a queen. You could just say, thank you, Kale joked during one lesson, earning him a stern glare from the royal advisor. Serena, however, was different. She didn't seem angry at the bond, only conflicted. Whenever she looked at him, her expression softened, as though she didn't quite know what to feel. One night, she entered his chamber while he stared out at the twin moons. You do not want this, do you? She asked quietly. Kale turned. Want what? This bond, this union. Her voice faltered on the last word. You saved me, yes, but perhaps you did not mean for this. Kale hesitated. Serena, where I come from, Saving someone doesn't mean they owe you their life. I didn't do it expecting anything. That is why it matters, she whispered. The ceremony, the day of the binding, came swiftly. Renari temples bloomed with light, their crystalline structures singing in harmony. Kale stood awkwardly in ceremonial armor, gifted by the queen's artisans, lighter than human steel, etched with glowing runes. Serenia entered, adorned in silver and white, her eyes never leaving his. Before the High Seer, they joined hands, his rough soldier's palm against her smooth, alien skin. A pulse of energy surged through them both. By the law of life and blood, intoned the seer, a debt is repaid only through unity. Henceforth your fates are one. The bond sealed with a flare of light, leaving Kale dizzy and Serenia trembling. When it was done, silence fell. She looked at him, searching his face. It is done. I am yours. Kale swallowed. Guess that makes me yours too. For the first time since he'd met her, she smiled, truly smiled. Yes, she whispered. It does. Aftermath. The war didn't end overnight, but the alliance forged between humans and Renari shifted the galaxy. Kale stood not only as a soldier, but as the queen's consort, a title he never imagined for himself. Yet, for all the politics, what mattered most was the quiet moments. Her laughter in rare privacy, her hand finding his beneath council tables, the way she whispered his name like it was precious. One evening, as the sun set over the crystalline spires of her palace, Serenia stood beside him. You never answered me, she said softly. About what? Do you regret it, taking that blade for me? Kale smiled, resting his forehead against hers. Not for a second. Her breath caught. Neither do I. And in that moment, two worlds that had been enemies for centuries finally began to heal. Not through treaties or weapons, but through a single, selfless act of love.